Right, let's get into it. Over in the Indian state of Manipur, a single sentence in a new government order has basically ignited a firestorm. It seems like a small technical change to police procedure, but critics are saying it risks completely upending the delicate balance between state security and personal freedom. So let's break down exactly what's going on. So back in April of 2024, the government in Manipur issued this notification. Kind of quietly, actually. But its impact? Well, that's been anything but quiet. It all comes down to who gets to enforce a really powerful anti-terror law. And as you're about to see, a local human rights group is sounding a major alarm. Okay, so to really grasp what's at stake here, we first have to ask the big question. What exactly is this law, the UAAPA? That's at the very center of this whole controversy. Yeah, the UAPA is not just any old law. It's India's main tool against terrorism, and it is packed with some of the strictest rules for arrest and seizure you can find anywhere in the country. Now, when you have a law with that much power, the question of who gets to wield it, well, that becomes absolutely crucial. So, what did the Manipur government actually change? The answer might seem small at first, but like they say, the devil is always in the details. You see, for decades, the power to use the UAPA was kept in the hands of senior police officers. We're talking ranks like Deputy Superintendent of Police or even higher. That was just the standard. But then on April 12, 2024, a new notification came out and it completely redrew those lines of authority. And here it is. This is the heart of the change. Before this order, the authority to make arrests and seize property under this powerful law rested with police inspectors and their bosses. But now, that power has been extended down to the rank of sub-inspector. Just to put that into perspective, a sub-inspector is generally a more junior officer, often with less time and experience in the field. So it might look like a subtle shift on paper, but on the ground, it's a huge deal. Now, a shift in authority like this, it's not going to go unnoticed. In fact, it's drawn a really sharp and immediate response from a local watchdog group that's dedicated to protecting human rights. The group is called Human Rights Alert, or HRA, and they're based in Imphal. They responded right away, and they really didn't mince words. They called the order arbitrary and detrimental to the rule of law, and straight up demanded the government withdraw it. And look, the HRA's objections aren't just based on a feeling. They're rooted in legal history. They point to a Supreme Court ruling that specifically said that investigations under these kinds of special, powerful laws should be handled by senior officers. And the court's reasoning was crystal clear. Seniority brings experience and maturity, and that's what helps prevent these incredibly strict laws from being misused. So the crucial point for the HRA is really this. By giving these sweeping powers to less experienced officers, the government is dramatically increasing the risk of the law being misapplied. They're worried this could lead to a lot of wrongful arrests and seizures, with innocent civilians ending up paying the price for potential errors or even abuse of power. You know, what's interesting is that this specific rule change, happening in one Indian state, it actually taps into a much, much larger debate. One that countries all over the world are constantly grappling with. It's that classic balancing act, isn't it? On one hand, a government absolutely has a responsibility to keep people safe and to combat unlawful activities. But on the other hand, it has a fundamental duty to protect the rights and freedoms of its own citizens. What's happening in Manipur is a perfect real-world example of just how delicate that tension is. Ultimately, this situation really forces us to confront that fundamental question. It makes us consider the real-world impact of these legal changes, and, it asks all of us to think about where that critical line should be drawn. Because what seems like a small procedural change can have truly profound consequences for the balance between state power and individual liberty.